How would you like to make $1,000 in 15 minutes?
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Keep watching this video and I'm going to show you how you can do that every single day during baseball season. What's up, guys? It's your boy Noble Living back with another DYF Bets educational video where I'm trying to break down tips, strategies, education, where I can help you become a better as we grow our bankrolls together and try to get after that bag. Now, baseball is one of my favorite seasons to sports bet, not only because there's a ton of games, a lot of opportunities, a lot of ways to grab value and great winners. If you haven't checked out that video that I've done on why you should be betting baseball, check out that video right here. You don't want to miss it. But one of the reasons why I love baseball is because there's so many alternative bets and ways that you can make money quickly. And one of the fastest ways that you can make money in any sport is betting something called the Nerfy. The no-run first inning is one of the funnest and best bets. I don't even know if funnest is a word, but it's one of the best bets that you can bet in all of sports betting. It doesn't matter what sport it is, basketball, football, hockey. The no-run first inning in baseball is unparalleled. It stands on its own as one of the best and funnest ways to grow your bankroll in a short amount of time. So you're probably wondering, what is the Nerfy? I see that sometimes posted on gambling Twitter, or I hear people talk about it. It's simple. It's no run in the first inning. All you're doing is betting on two teams, the home team and the away team, not to score any runs in the first inning. Sounds easy enough, right? But believe it or not, it's not as easy as you think. If you look at historical statistical data, there's about a 60% success rate in terms of teams not scoring a run in the first inning. So that means that odds are in your favor, but you know how it works in betting. It doesn't always work out that way. And believe it or not, teams typically tend to give up more runs in the first inning than you would think. And then when you also add in the fact that sometimes when you have certain pitching matchup, the odds can get really juiced. And when you don't hit, it can hurt your bankroll, or it can hurt just to lose that much money. Then it could start adding up. So what I want to be able to do over the next few minutes is teach you how you can get a part of the action. You can get your hands in this no-run first inning bet. So this way you can cash in and literally make thousands of dollars in 15 minutes. And that's all it takes, because all you need is for the top of the order and then the bottom of the inning as well to cash, and you're good to go. Sometimes I've cashed a Nerfy in like 7-8 minutes if the pitchers work through the lineup pretty quickly. Sometimes you're sitting there watching the game, biting your fingernails, sweating it out, because you got a guy on second base and there's no out, and you know all it takes is a single for him to come in and score that run. And guess what you do? You start panicking, you start worrying, you start checking your bankroll, seeing how much you're gonna lose. And that's never a good feeling. And that's the first thing that I really want to make sure I draw your attention to is when you're betting Nerfies, make sure that you can afford to bet the amount that you're betting on. This is a speculative bet. It is a fun bet. It is a quick way to make money, but it is a speculative bet. You're betting on a team not to score a run just for 3 outs, and as simple as that might sound, you're one meatball sandwich, one pitch right down the middle, and that thing getting smacked out of the park from you losing all your money, and that's never a good feeling. So because of that, I never make my best bet of the day a Nerfy, but I always have it like as a little extra icing on the cake, or it's just something that I look at as just a way to get a few extra $100 here, a few extra dollars on top, but I never look at Nerfies as a way to make my main bread and butter. That's why I dive into my other research, whether it's a first five, money line, whether it's a total, whether I'm doing a 2-team steam parlay. Those are the games that I'm looking for my best bet. But a Nerfy is just my way of kind of making a little bit of extra icing on the cake. But you're probably wondering, okay, Noble, you said I can cash in, I can make $1,000 in 15 minutes, I can make a few $100 in 15 minutes. How do I do this? What am I looking out for? All your standard sports books are gonna have a no-run first inning. If you got FanDuel, BetMGM, Bovada, BetOnline, it doesn't matter. They're all gonna have a Nerfy, but I will tell you this, all the books are gonna have different odds on those Nerfies. So as you should be doing if you're an experienced bettor, or if you're somebody who bets a lot, you should have access to all these different sports books, so this way you can shop around the line so you can get the best value. But you wanna make sure that especially when you're looking at the no runs first innings, that you are shopping around to make sure that you're not laying that minus 160 unnecessarily, when you can get minus 120 somewhere else, and you can get it cheaper, because remember, you're just one run away, you're one wild pitch away, you're one error believe it or not, a lot of these baseball players, they make errors. Yes, they're professionals, but they'll drop a ball or they'll fumble it on a double play ball or something. Next thing you know, a run scores. So you definitely want to make sure that you're shopping around on those odds. So this way you're getting the best value and not exposing yourself a little bit too much. The main thing that I'm paying attention to before I even shop around the odds is the pitching matchup. I want to make sure that I'm getting the best bang for my buck, and I want to make sure that I'm going with two pitchers who are really good in the first inning. And the best way for you to kind of know this is either just checking their ERA, which tells you a little bit about the strength of the pitcher, but it doesn't tell you enough. It kind of gets that ball rolling. But after that, I literally go through their previous game history. You can do this on MLB.com, ESPN, any major sports website. And I just try to look at what they've done in previous first innings. So I take a look at their past 5 starts, their last 10 starts, and I just check. Did they give up a run in the first inning or not? And if they didn't, then that means that they pretty much have a pretty strong Nerfy success rate. And those are the type of pitchers that I want to back. There are some pitchers in the majors who are known for getting started off a little bit slow. They'll give up a run in the first inning, and they'll pitch shutout ball for next 4 or 5 innings. Well, guess what? If you're better on the first inning, you still lose that bet. So that's why it's important that you have some other bets in there as well, like first fives and money lines and full game totals and things of that nature. It takes them a little bit of time to get their footing, and you have to pay attention to that. And if they are one of those pitchers who get started off a little bit slow in that first inning, you definitely don't want to bat them on the Nerfy because they might give up some runs. So I definitely take a look at their Nerfy success rate, how the 2 starting pitchers have done in their previous matchups in the first inning, and typically I'm looking for about a 70% success rate over their last 5 games or so. Now, not every pitcher is going to have a 100% success rate. Like I said, you're going to give up a run here and there. It's bound to happen. Even the best of pitchers, Zach Gallen, Sandy Alcantara, Justin Verlander, Max Scherzer, these are all aces, but they all sometimes typically tend to give up runs. Even look up Shohei Ohtani. I don't know when you're going to be watching this video. He's like 7-6 on Nerfies for the year. So that goes to show you a pitcher who is even a star stud and MVP candidate and leading contender like Shohei Ohtani still has the ability to give up a lot of runs in the first inning. So that's why you definitely have to vet out the process. You got to do your research on how these pitchers have done in previous Nerfies, because it is a good indicator as what they're going to be able to do, especially on the Nerfy that you're betting on. So after I take a look at the starting pitching matchups, I want to make sure, okay, these guys align, they have a pretty good Nerfy success rate. Then I want to look at the other side of it. I looked at the pitching, right? So now I have to look at the hitting. There's some lineups that do really well in the first inning. They score a lot of runs in the first inning. And you guys can find out this information. Just go to your baseball statistic websites like MLB.com, ESPN, and just look at the box score and just see when was the last time this team scored a run in the first inning. You can also look this up on teamrankings.com. That's one of my favorite websites to look up all sports, not just baseball stats. And they literally have an area, it might be under other, where you can look up how specific teams do in the first inning. How many runs do they typically score in the first inning? You don't understand kind of how baseball lineups work. Every team's a little bit different, but historically, typically, you put your best batters at the top of your lineup. So that's why you want to pay attention to the lineups and if they're scoring runs in the first inning, because there are going to be some teams like the Yankees that you're going to be facing Aaron Judge. You're going to be facing Anthony Rizzo. You're going to be facing Giancarlo Stanton in that first inning. That's a tough gauntlet to go through for any pitcher. It doesn't matter if you're an ace or not. Look at the Padres. You got to go through Tatis. You got to go through Machado. You got to go through Soto. Those are 3 tough outs that you have to get without giving up a run. And that's asking a lot for certain pitchers, especially when you talk about the guys who are a little bit lower in the rotation, such as your number 3, number 4, number 5 pitchers. So when you're taking a look at the Nerfies, not only look just at the pitching matchup and how well they've been doing, but also look at the offensive lineups and see how well they score in the first inning, because there are some teams that don't score well in the first inning, like the Marlins. Again, at the time of recording this video, they had an 80% Nerfy success rate. So that means that 80% of the times they don't score a run in the first inning. That's a type of team that I'm looking to back. Typically, a team over 65, 70% and higher are teams that I like to back when it comes down to Nerfy success rate. Now, anything below that, that means that they're scoring a little bit too often in the first inning for me, and that means I have to kind of take it with a grain of salt, or maybe I have to look at some different options on the board to see what's the best value or the best pick for that day, okay? Now, again, you have to take all this information, you have to compile it together to help formulate your betting thesis. And what your betting thesis is just simply, why am I taking this bet? Why do I like this bet? So when I'm looking at the full split of games and then I see a few pitching matchups that grab my attention, like maybe I have 2 aces on the mound, or maybe I have 2 offenses that haven't been doing well over the past few days, or maybe there's an injury to a star player like that's in the cleanup spot on the number 3 spot. That point that I'm like, okay, maybe I want to take this Nerfy. So after I look at that starting pitching matchup and then I look at the offensive lineup, then you can start looking at some of the other extracurricular things, such as the stadium that they're playing in, what's the weather. When it's really windy at Wrigley Field and the winds are blowing out of the stadium, guess what? The balls are going to carry farther. Sometimes that means if a pitcher throws a bad pitch, then guess what? More runs are going to be scored. Or you got ballparks like Citi Field, Fenway Park, Coors Field, where the Rockies play, and because of the altitude, they give up a ton of runs in those stadiums. So because of that, those are sometimes things that I stay away from when I'm taking a Nerfy, because remember, all they have to do is score run. Doesn't matter if it's the home team or the away team, and your bet loses. So I don't want my bet to lose. I know you don't want your bet to lose, so I want to make sure that this bet is checking off all the boxes before I pull that trigger. So before you take your next Nerfy, make sure you're checking the odds, so this way you're not laying too much of juice. Again, for me, -170 is the most I lay. Now, I really won't lay -170 on an individual bet on a full game or on a first 5. You guys know that. If you're not in my Telegram group, make sure you click on the link in the below in the bio, so this way you guys are staying up to date on that. And even my daily betting videos I do every weekday on YouTube, you can check those out as well. And you will see that I typically don't put a lot of high odd bets out there just because I don't like to lay that much juice. There's typically a better value out there. But on Nerfies, I'm willing to lay the juice because of how quickly the money I'm getting. But at the same time, because of that, I'm not going to bet as heavily on that as I would another type of bet, like a full game type bet. So check the odds, make sure you're getting the best value for that, shop around, and then pay attention to the starting pitching matchups, how they've done in Nerfies in their past, and then also the offensive lineups. What is their success rate on Nerfies? Do they score a lot of runs in the first inning, or are they kind of an offense that kind of gets it going a little bit later in the later innings? And then once you kind of get all that information, or then you can start trying to put together some of the extra stuff, such as the wind, such as the ballpark, and some of that extra stuff as well that can really be able to help you out. Even right-handed, left-handed pitchers, some teams bat better on right-handed pitchers than they do left-handed pitchers. All those things will matter when it comes down to trying to find the best bet when it comes down to a Nerfy. Don't go too crazy with all that Nerfy research pulling out your hair, because remember, it is a little bit more of a speculative bet. I have been successful betting Nerfies, but at the same time, there are times where you can do all the research in the world and he pitches that thing over the plate with 2 outs in the 3-2 count. They smack it out the park and you lose your bet just like that, and your heart sinks. And I don't want that for you, so because of that, make sure you take this information and you apply it, because I don't want your heart to sink. I don't want you to lose money on these Nerfies. It's a quick way to make money, but make sure you're checking yourself. You're not getting too carried away, because it's very easy to get addicted to the Nerfies, especially when you're hitting consistently and you're making that quick money. Use this as the icing on the cake, not the main cake. And here's a little extra bonus for you guys. You might want to look at the second inning under as well, even if you do lose the Nerfy. You know why? Because typically your best hitters are, like I said earlier, at the top of your lineup. So if you get through the Nerfy, or even if you give up 1 run on a bad pitch in the first inning, sometimes in the second inning, they don't give up any runs. Why? Because you're typically facing the not as strong hitters in the bottom of the lineup, and you got past the strong hitters at the top of the lineup. I hope this helps you out, and I can't wait to see some of the Nerfies that you cash in on. All we need is 6 outs. Let's sweat it. And as always, I appreciate you tapping in. Make sure you like this video, and if you found some value, please subscribe to the channel and comment as well, as we're just trying to put out more videos and find ways to help you become a better. And if there's something that you want me to cover or go over, just let me know. I can't wait to help you out. Let's get to that money today, dictate your fate, and get to that cheese. I'll see y'all later. Sweat out those 6 outs. Let's go. No run first inning. Nerfy Nation, let's get it.